welcome to the MythBusters Aftershow. We are currently taking your questions for the episode Tanker Crush, in which we imploded a tank car, a train tank car, with a vacuum. First question, holy beep. This story was huge. Was it the biggest story you've ever done?
It's probably one of the largest objects that we've dealt with.
100%. 70 feet long, 8 feet wide, like 15 feet tall. Everything about this episode was on a big scale. But I think Rocket Car 2 and 3 were both larger from a production standpoint.
Yeah.
Next question. How long did it take you to source those tanker cars? Great work, by the way. Thanks.
It took our producers quite a while, actually. I think it was over a year to get all that together. And, you know, the largest part was that the people that have these facilities, you know, the rail yards and things like that, don't want to, they're not used to having film productions there, and they were leery of potential damage. It's not something they knew how to, you know, anticipate.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of, you know, when we come into a place, the initial reaction is always like, yeah, come on down. And then people start to think about it, and they've seen our show, and they're like, I wonder how this is actually going to go. So there's always a period of time where we have to convince the locals that we actually know what we're doing.
Yeah, the military is another one of those things. Is, you know, we've ended up working with the Blue Angels, but they're used to dealing with the public. It's what they do. Going on to a military base and, you know, getting access to weaponry or something like that would have been really handy for us a few times, but it's never happened.
Yeah. Next question. When you were doing your scale test in the shop, did you consider hitting the drums with a CO2 fire extinguisher to cool them down faster?
We did.
We did consider that.
But it turned out not to be necessary.
No, I mean, they all imploded within a reasonable period of time, and the moment you break out the CO2 fire extinguisher, you can't see what's happening on camera. And we're making a TV show, so we sort of have to tell that story. Oh! Whoa! Much as we love using the CO2 fire extinguishers, would that have made a difference, and could you have tried that full scale?
We discussed doing that full scale with liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
And I had suggested that water would be plenty effective if we were going to do that.
And we did.
And we did, water. Yeah.
All right. Next question. Jamie said at the end that everyone on set said it was going to happen. Was it really like that? And if so, wasn't that kind of annoying?
I don't know that it was annoying. It was kind of, it was amazing that all these engineers and experts in the field were just downright positive. Oh yeah, it's gonna, they were saying like 3 or 4 PSI or 5 PSI, something like that.
It was really kicking our butt. What happened with the tankers when you were done with them? I have no idea.
Well, they'd be recycled for steel.
Right, yeah, obviously the steel would be recycled, but I don't know into what specifically. Maybe they're in the bumper of your car by now. Next question. The myth depended on pressure differential, which came about because the tanks were sealed. But is it really that easy to seal tanks, or do they have relief valves on them? The answer to that is yes.
Yeah, they're made to keep liquids inside, and so that means they can keep atmosphere out.
And they do have relief valves, and those can fail.
Yeah.
And they have failed. Yeah. Next question. Was there any kind of shockwave that you could feel from big or small scale? Well, there's definitely a sound, which is, in and of itself, a shockwave.
Yeah, I mean, when we were watching the full-sized tank car, we were a significant distance away, and I don't recall feeling anything.
No.
In the shop with a 55-gallon drum going off, let me tell you, you feel it.
It's loud. It's very loud, and it's so unexpected, you totally jump. Even Jamie jumped. Awesome! Next question. I didn't quite understand why you ended up using a vacuum pump instead of the steam cleaner.
Well, we did explain that, I believe, on the episode. The steam takes a lot more energy, a lot more time to to make that happen. You know, the math was the same. The vacuum pressure that was achievable was the same.
Exactly. So for us, it was sort of a 6-1, half dozen the other. One takes a tremendous amount of time and energy to set up. The other achieves the same goal and is simpler. And since we'd already proved that the steam cleaning works to lower the pressure and create a high pressure differential, we figured let's move to a vacuum because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
All right. You called the myth busted, but why wasn't it plausible given that it did work at the end? Well, it only worked after we severely compromised the train car, which hopefully if one was compromised like that, it would be taken out of commission.
Yeah, the experts indicated that there was a particular kind of rippling on the bottom where the trucks, those things with the wheels, impact from going over rough tracks. You could say it was plausible. It's you know, we decided to call it busted though.
You know, and also like these train cars can undergo all sorts of corrosion that, you know, a negligent train yard, unlike the one we used, a negligent train yard might not catch, and thus there are circumstances, but they would be pretty extreme. All right, next question, was the chute bad for the blood pressure? It was, I'll tell you, it was hot. We're in Eastern Oregon, which is the high desert. It was hot.
Man,
It's nerve-wracking.
it is. And I know that like the moment I blink, it's going to happen.
And it was kind of brutal being outdoors all those days and repeatedly having tank cars not fail. But I wouldn't say it was hard on the blood pressure.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what we do at all on the show that's not
That's
hard on
right,
someone.
exactly. That makes it uniquely hard, right? Next question, why no push me, pull you sequence? Oh, that's like the thing that goes like that? We tried. We really wanted one, and they thought that they had one, but it didn't work, and we couldn't get one.
Yeah.
I love those things. Okay, last question. Are there any epic train journeys that you have done or would like to do, particularly now that you're about to leave us? Boo.
I haven't done that any. I know you like going
Yeah,
on
I
trains.
train is my all-time favorite way to travel of any mode of locomotion, pun intended. I have gone from New York to Montreal, San Francisco to Seattle, and Oakland to Chicago by way of Aspen. I've always wanted to take the Orient Express. There's a beautiful train from Vancouver to Banff, or maybe all the way across Canada that I'd love to try. Really, if you haven't traveled by train, you're missing out. It's an amazing method of conveyance.
Yeah, I've gone across Europe, going through France and Switzerland, and it's you know, it's a lovely way to see the country.
It is, and for the most part, trains are traveling through a relatively remote country, which means that, like, when you're taking the train across the U.S., the view out the window really hasn't changed that much in 150 years those tracks have been there. That's pretty freaking cool. All right, that's it for the MythBusters After Show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.